I just turned an idea into a SaaS in 10 days. And in this video, I'll show you exactly how I did it. I've been seeing a lot of videos and shorts lately where people built and launched a profitable app in just 3 days. And while that sounds impressive, I often feel there's a lack of transparency that makes me question the credibility. I have no doubt that with how powerful AI is today, building an app in days is absolutely possible. But what I want to see, but often missing after clicking those videos, is a roadmap of how they actually did it. Instead, the building part is often skipped with a simple statement like, I had an idea, used AI, and launched it in 3 days. Until recently, I decided to take on the challenge myself. So, I built a full SaaS in 10 days. And in this video, I'll show you exactly what I did day by day, from scratch to launch. My goal is to make this video useful to you if you are interested in this topic, by showing you one of the many possibilities of how things like this actually accomplished. There will be some technical details, because I try to be transparent about what problem I solved during the journey, but I'll keep it minimal. Without further ado, let's get started. What I built is a captioning service with API access coming soon. The idea is that I've been automating my videos with N8N lately, and I want my agent to auto-caption some non-talking videos. I know most video platforms already support this, and all you need to do is input your text. But I don't even want to do that manually anymore. So I looked at a few options online. A lot of them focus on auto captions for talking videos, and many charge extra for features I don't care about. So I decided to build a simple one myself. For now, I will build this with features I personally need. 1. It generates a caption asset that I can automate with my workflow or manually import into editing software. And 2. It provides APIs for on-demand programmatic access. If you're looking for something similar, perfect. Give it a try and leave suggestions for features you'd like to see. I did this side project on weekday nights and Saturdays only, so the schedule might look intense or light on different days. And I have no doubt if you can get it done in 3 to 5 days working full-time. Now, a bit of background on the tech stack I used. AI. Just kidding. I built mostly with AWS because I'm comfortable with it and it's super low budget, almost zero cost. I'll do a quick cost analysis at the end to show you how, so stay till the end. On day 1, I started with a project that generates captions for talking videos. I tweaked it so instead of voice-based captioning, it accepts text input. I added a simple rule to break sentences with timing data for a comfortable reading speed and then output a caption asset. Then I started a second codebase from another project. This project built a simple server, which deployed the same rendering library as AWS Lambda functions. So what I did for this one is, since I wanted a serverless architecture of my SaaS, I tweaked it by decoupling the front end and rewriting the invocation with REST API calls. Then I tested it out a bit, and that wrapped up day 1. Basically, just repurposing 2 existing projects to fit my goal. On day 2, I integrated these 2 projects by replacing the backend rendering Lambda function in the project 2 with my text-based caption renderer from the project 1. Then, I added some bugs, did some fake testing, and deployed everything. This part wasn't too painful, thanks to my beloved AI partner.
Thank you very much.
By the end of the day, I could submit rendering jobs from the front-end website and download the caption asset generated by the back-end renderer. It looked promising. So I briefly thought about finding a partner, opening a startup, and ready to be rich in 2 years. On day 3, with the 2 projects successfully integrated and deployed, I finally had a solid base to start my SaaS. I started by migrating the entire project into a next.js because I knew I'd need SEO soon. And static sites work really well with my serverless architectures. I redeployed the backend, and of course, it broke immediately. I ran into issues with asset loading, output formatting, and API incompatibilities caused by the migration. Fortunately, by the end of the day, I managed to get the front-end to back-end flow working, and my SaaS was able to generate caption asset from text input again. Going to bed after a clean git push was incredibly satisfying.
Nice.
On day 4, with the core functionality done, I worked on front-end UI and user authentication. I like to treat front-end days as cheat days. It feels like doing art than engineering when buttons and text finally line up nicely. For user authentication, I suffered about 20 minutes listing pros and cons in picking among Cognito, Supabase, and Firebase. Then there's a voice. Deep in my mind, it's telling me to ship fast and stop obsessing over tech stack purity, so I went with Supabase. So I registered my account, created a project, and added the login page to my app, and sitting there admiring my masterpiece for another 20 minutes before going to bed.
Masterpiece.
On day 5, at this point, I had basic front-end back-end rendering and user authentication, but I needed real back-end logic. Half the day was spent planning architecture. I like splitting back-end into self-sufficient microservice with minimal resources. So I drafted the implementation plan for user module, rendering module, and API module. Then asked my AI pal to generate separate resource stacks for deployment.
Thank you very much.
I started with refactoring my backend renderer from the prototype I got from day 2 and redeployed it to make it fit into the rendering module. I did some fake testing again just to make myself feel better. Then I also deployed the user module, but it is already too late even for fake testing, so that had to wait for the next day. On day 6, I started testing the user module that I deployed yesterday, which is designed to handle 2 things: authorizes user render with credit updates and provides limited rendering for unregistered guests. Without a surprise, everything broke again. I spent the whole day testing and debugging. Unfortunately, I couldn't fix everything. I went to bed with the guest rendering feature still broken. But fortunately, I don't expect to get any paging at 3 a.m. like those developers at AWS. On day 7, with set results from the previous day and faded passion in this project, I continued debugging with double sugar in my coffee. There was way more edge cases than I expected. I started getting frustrated because I originally planned 2 days for backend work, and now it was day 3. And I wasn't even sure if I could fix everything by today. I was very glad I didn't start my startup on day 2. Turns out I'm not getting rich in 2 years. Fortunately, it was a Saturday, so I can plan as many coding sessions as my Nespresso pods let me.
Thank you very much.
By the end of the night, everything was finally fixed.
Oh my god! Wow!
The SaaS was working again, and I started reconsidering the startup thing. On day 8, with my app running fine and restored confidence, it was time to prepare for the launch. I planned taking the entire day reviewing the architecture of my SaaS to secure it for production. I added stricter access policies to protect user data and privacy, but that broke the download feature. And I was glad, again, that I did not open my startup yesterday. Turns out, it wasn't a bad Monday night, as I got everything working again pretty quickly. And this time, I replaced my startup planning with some gaming. On day 9, it was time for last-minute creative work. My app at this point only had a single caption style that I planned to use myself, so I wanted to add a few more for the launch. I also couldn't control myself from tweaking the landing page and dashboard to make things look nicer, even though I've been told many times not to over-polish early prototypes. I still did it, so that I won't waste any time planning my startup again and also have a peaceful night. Finally, the launch day arrived. I tested the production build and made sure everything still worked. Then I set up the CI/CD pipeline, which is a must for me. It's some optional work, but I highly recommend it. Any future changes merged into the main branch will automatically get pulled, built, and deployed.
Nice.
The last step was buying the domain and setting up routing records to link it to my CDN distribution. And here I have my baby SaaS come to life. So that's how I turned my idea into a SaaS. which you can try right now at captiongenwizard.com. Now for the cost analysis that I promised at the beginning of the video, I paid $13 for the domain, but I won't count that since it's the inevitable and really depends on what you buy. But I will cover all services that I used which could incur cost and then explain to you why they are free now. The site is hosted statically using S3 and CloudFront, both of which AWS provides generous free tiers. For example, for S3, there is a 2.3 cents per GB cost. And for most small sites like mine, usually stays under 50 megabytes area, which is less than a cent, and AWS won't even bill you. For CloudFront, there is also a free 1 terabyte transfer and 10 million requests per month. So unless you are getting 100K user access monthly, you won't see any charges. The backend database uses DynamoDB, which also provides free tier. And a rough estimate is that you also won't be charged anything if you are getting less than 80K read and 16K write requests per month. User authentication is handled by Supabase, which stays free under 50,000 monthly active users. So hosting this site currently costs me nothing, which is great, but I hope it won't stay that way for too long. Otherwise, it just means I build something nobody cares about. The only thing that I expect receiving bills from AWS is the Lambda function, and that depends on how many users render submitted. So please don't abuse my generous guest access, my dear audience. So I hope this video gave you the brief idea for building a SaaS as an indie developer. If you're looking for a captioning service like this, feel free to check it out at captiongenwizard.com. I'd love to hear your feedback or any features you'd like me to add. If you found this video helpful, give it a like. Also, check out some of the other interesting projects on my channel. Subscribe to follow along with my journey as an indie developer. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.